So here's a hot take for you beautiful people. FX plugins are carrying producers, and in this video I'm talking about the FX plugins that are carrying me, that you can use to carry you when you're making some R&B. Let's go. We're starting off with my number one VST, and that is the Neutron 3 EQ. I use it everywhere on every mix channel. I love it particularly because I like the way it visualizes the spectrum. It lets me know exactly where and when I need to make my cuts. It has a cool masking function, or unmasking rather. It has a cool sidechain function. You can add dynamic compression. It is very versatile. It really allows me to see where I need to make my cuts so I can get a better mix, and it's a plugin that's on every mixer channel. I use it in every project. So that is the one FX that is carrying me every single time. I could end the video there and I'd be justified in doing so, but there's a lot more that I want to talk about. We're going to talk about compressors, we're going to talk about reverb, delay, creative FX, guitar amp sims, and some other cool stuff. So let's talk about compression. I personally think that as a producer, you cannot afford to not have a good compressor on hand. Now, me being a user of a Apollo Solo by Universal Audio, I'm a big fan of the 1176 and the LA2A that they're offering with their Analog Classics bundle, but oftentimes I also use the Black 76 or the White 2A from IK Multimedia. When it comes to serial compression, or gluing things on a bus together, I like Native Instruments' solid bus compressor. And when it comes to multi-band compressor, I'm a very big fan of Ozone 8's Dynamics. It's something that I always use when taming my guitar samples, when trying to treat my vocals. It's a multi-band compressor that has never disappointed me. I actually don't have a very big collection of reverbs. I have two that are tried and true and proven to me, so I always use them, and those are Little Plate by Sound Toys and Round by Native Instruments. I really like those reverbs. I really like that they add a very soft and lush flavor to whatever thing I put them on. I use Little Plate on my reverb bus for vocals and drums. It always does the tricks. But if you're looking for a stock sound, FL's reverb is still holding up even today, so I can definitely recommend that one as well. Actually, a lot of FL Studio stock plugins hold up even today. Yes, you don't exactly get those cool creative effects that you get with third-party plugins, but FL's delay is still a force to be reckoned with in my humble personal opinion. Other than that, I can recommend Comeback Kit by Baby Audio. It's a good delay if you want to go for something more creative, if you really want to be able to customize all kinds of cool effects. I can definitely recommend that one as well. The delay that I use the most is actually Replica by Native Instruments, and that's what I use mostly on vocals, and if I want to add some lushness to, say, samples that I make. I feel that sample makers in particular should have a good chorus effect. Now, there's a lot to be said about FL Studio's chorus. Like I said, stock plugins still hold up even today, but the chorus that I generally almost use is Choral by Native Instruments. I got it as a part of the mod pack, and if it's a chorus effect that I need, I usually always go to that. But when it comes to treating my vocals, when I want something that's a little bit more extensive in terms of options, I like to go for Waves' Vocal Doubler, or Waves Doubler 2, or Doubler 4, mono or stereo. That's something that I use when I'm treating vocals, and I think it really is amazing. And I really like the fact that you can actually add some kind of down pitch. You actually get the ability to pitch the vocals. Another cool chorus effect that I can recommend is Microshift, or Little Microshift by Sound Toys. It's a widener. It adds a couple of voices. It's good, it's really lush, and it's such a simple and effective effect. I can definitely recommend that one as well. One thing that I haven't tried yet, but I will be doing so in the near future, is the Brigade chorus, which I got from Universal Audio. They had a sale and they were offering that one for free. There's nothing I can say about that yet, but it's definitely one to look out for, and I'm gonna try to demo it in some of the next videos that I'll be making. I realize that there are a lot of things that I think you should have as an R&B producer based on my personal experience, and one of those things is actually creative FX plugins. And when I say that, I'm actually talking about cool plugins such as Shaperbox, which is a cool effect which you can use to manipulate time, volume, pan, filters, and all kind of good stuff, and they just keep adding modules to that. It's a plugin that I definitely recommend. I consider it the Swiss knife of effects that you want to be able to modulate. It's a cool plugin. Another plugin that I use a lot is Portal by Output. It's a cool granular FX plugin that really helps add some texture to the sample or the chord progression or whatever it is that you're putting it on. Definitely a 10/10, definitely would recommend. Another cool granular FX plugin is Crystallizer by Sound Toys. I low-key use it on my reverb bus to make my reverb bus a bit more creative, a bit more spacey, and a bit more out there. But when we're talking about space, one thing that I can also recommend is Spaced Out by Baby Audio. which is easily my favorite creative delay slash reverb plugin. There's so many parameters you can customize, and I use it especially when I want to make my guitars or my vocal samples sound a little bit more wavy. Now, if you've come this far as a producer, beautiful people, I don't think halftime needs an introduction. I don't think I should do anything except for just mention halftime, but go on. But please, beautiful people, if you want some cool creative slowdown effects, halftime is definitely what you need. It might just be that effect which your sample needs to really pop out. And to close it off, another cool creative effects plugin that I like using a lot is the little Alto Boy by Soundtoys, especially on vocals. It really does the trick super well when you're going for, say, that Black or the Weeknd kind of sound. Amazing. Now, don't be fooled, beautiful people. Guitar amp sync plugins are for everyone, especially if you're playing guitar patterns with VSTs from Impact Soundworks or in Street Samples, Native Instruments, or Ample Sound. You know, they all do an amazing job. The most well-known one, of course, is Guitar Rig 6 by Native Instruments, but the one that I prefer the most as a guitar player is Archetype Corey Wong, which helps me get such a clean and vibey tone when I'm playing with my semi-hollow or my Stratocaster in the back. There's also a lot to be said about Amplitude by IKEY Multimedia. I found it a little bit difficult to configure. I didn't like the tone as much, but it's one that you can definitely look into if you think it fits your liking. And last but certainly not least, beautiful people, as a matter of fact, I think it's one of the most important plugins to have as a producer, as a sample maker, and it is a lo-fi plugin. I call it a lo-fi plugin because we commonly associate the effects that it creates with lo-fi, but it's something that helps us add some analog warmth. It helps us get like kind of a decayed effect. It helps us introduce wobble and flutter, and there's a lot of plugins that are good at that. I think we're all familiar with RC20 at this point. It has been the way for a couple of years right now, but one thing that I like to use when I'm looking for something quick and clean is Origin by Cymatics. It's a free plugin. I think it still is a free plugin, and it really helps because all I have to do is dial a couple of knobs and I basically get what I need, which is kind of a filtered out lo-fi effect. But if you're looking for something a little bit more intricate, there's Tape Mellify by Arturia, which replicates that old decayed sound which you get from that Mellotron. But another plugin that I like a lot, particularly on drums and vocals when I'm making like older R&B type beats like 80s, 90s, and 2000s, is Sketch Cassette by Aberrant DSP, and I do not regret buying that plugin at all. I absolutely love it. Now, for what it's worth, beautiful people, this is my tier list of the plugins that I'm using. This is all based on how often I use them, not on how good they are, because to me they are equally as good. These are the plugins that when I need a particular plugin that fills that role, those are the ones that I go to, you know, look at it and see if any one of those plugins on that list is actually one that you would use in your mix. And that brings us to the end of the video, beautiful folks. Now, I hope that this video and the previous video where I talked about VST instruments that you can use for R&B beats will help you to produce some dope R&B in 2023. I'm curious to hear what you're going to be making, so feel free to send it to me or let me know to check your stuff out. Other than that, beautiful folks, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope to see y'all in the next. Y'all be easy. Peace.